Hi, welcome, guys, welcome, girls, and every human in between. This is the Bear With Me podcast. I'm your host, Wit. How y'all doing? Thank you all. If you're new here, welcome. If you're tuning in for another helping, welcome back. So glad to have you. Either way it goes, new or returning, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Bear With Me podcast available on all major platforms wherever you like to listen or watch. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, share the channel. You know, we've been doing real good, so I want to keep doing good and even better. This week's episode, I was kind of trying to stay away because I feel like it's a low-hanging fruit for a lot of podcasts. However, in listening to a fave podcast and some of the things that they discussed and just like where I am in my life, I was like, we could probably do an ep about it. And then also it goes into a bigger thing because ain't nothing ever just one piece. I'm a whole interconnections type of girly. So here we are. Keith Lee went on Baby This Is Keke Palmer. Love her. By the way, Keke, if you just happen to come across, can we hang out? Or like, can I come to your show or you come to mine? Like, I'll come to you to do mine. I don't care. Like, let's do something together, girl, because I know we'd be great humans together in a space. So yeah, if somebody knows somebody that know Keke, pass me her way. Anyway, Keith Lee was on her podcast, and there's two parts that has the social medias in a little tizzy, and I'm just like, people are missing the message. People are. I don't think that they're thinkers. Because I don't know what you could get out of that. All right, first part, and it's fairly early into the podcast. I will also say this: I went back. So I saw it getting traction on social media. And then I say, let's go and watch the whole thing or listen to the whole thing because I want to make sure that what he's saying is not out of context. It's not taken out of context. Because the media is real good for taking a sentence out of a whole shebang and making an assumption. Anywho, the first part and the two parts were with less than 10 minutes apart because it was kind of the same theme. But the first part was about respect, and he respects he respects his marriage a lot. And so that's one of the things that him and his wife constantly work through and talk about, and him being aware when someone is potentially disrespecting his marriage. And he's like, I'm real big on respect. But there are things that he's not aware of, like if the woman is only talking to him and not her, and basically making sure that he bring his wife into the conversation, or just like if he initiates the conversation, he's going into it with good intentions, but it's not always the same when it comes to those other people. So people was coming for him like that. Like he just, like they were kind of just like women be doing the most type, and it was like, okay. And then on the second part, I think Kiki had asked him what family planning might look like for them if they wanted to have more kids. And he was like, we both wanted to be done by 30. They're almost 30. And he said that she's been going back and forth. Like sometimes she wants kids, sometimes she don't, any more kids. And he was like, I'm gonna let her be her choice. What she want 30 kids, one more kids, no more kids. Like it's her choice because it's pregnancy before and after that we gotta factor into everything like that. In the comments, they really ate that part. Like that part of that conversation is where they went up the most. Comments talking about how can she, if you're providing, how can she tell you how many she gonna have? Whoa, what? And just a lot of men giving their input on sharing that in their marriage, she is the deciding factor if they have more kids or not. So we're going to start with the respect, because that is one that is it don't get talked about enough. And I think people should do a better job of defining what respect looks like to them in various relationships and in different situations. So the first thing I thought about was him saying he's real big on respect. Like, you're not finna disrespect him, his wife, or their marriage. And it made me think about the way in which he celebrates her. If you keep up with him, you know he down for his wife 10 toes down. It reminded me of Kev on Stage and how he speaks about his wife. And I'm just like, wow, these are two black men who they don't play about their wives, as they shouldn't. Understood, received, praise be to y'all. And so I don't know if a lot of single women are aware of their being in different situations. I can attest to this because it just happened to me a couple days ago. So I'm with a friend celebrating some new endeavors for her and her boyfriend, and friends of his are at this establishment. And so I'm like, okay, we don't gotta be like them and your friends, his friends, and let's intermingle. So I go over to the table. I'm like, how y'all doing? How do y'all know him and everything like that? And we all start talking. And so there were two women and there was one man. So we all kind of start having the conversation. And I can't, first off, I can't remember if I saw his ring first or if I didn't. But I made sure that, no, I don't know how these people, I know that they all know him. And I didn't know immediately that one of the man and one of the women were married to each other. And so it was kind of just like just a general opening, everything like that. And so that was that conversation. But you just kind of in a neutral setting, not really sure who knows who, how, and to what levels. You kind of just stayed low key, kind of chill or whatever. So, mixing or mingling, had that conversation with them, moved away, eating, socialized, everything like that. And so then I go back to that table and I'm like, how y'all doing? So by this time, it's just him and the two women, they're not right there. So shortly, so I was like, I had quizzed myself. Names are, if I'm going to make it a purpose to get to know you or to socialize with you, the least I could do is make sure that I remember your name. So I went back over there and I was like, and I said his name, and then I said the other two ladies who were absent at the time, but I said their names. She was like, oh, okay, good. I was like, yeah, so I work in education, everything like that. And I was like, what part of their job together did he do? And he was telling me about that. And so then the conversation just naturally just kind of went kind of like how we both got to Houston and just like all the different things. And so then he started, and from there, I will say maybe 3 to 5 minutes in, he dropped my wife and I, so forth and so on. And thinking about it after watching that video, the clip of Keith Lee, and then also one of the comments specifically, I appreciate men who are quick to be like, if there's a conversation with a woman and they may or may not be really sure where it's trying to go or whatever the case, they'll be like, yeah, my wife and I, to let that woman know I have a wife. Don't be on no funny. Like, it sets a boundary. And I was like, I like that. Because I know that there are plenty of males who will chop it up, and you'll never know that this man is married, ring or no ring. Like, what? You will never know. So yeah. So you mentioned that he had a wife, and that, like, the conversation was just talking about, just like, it went to a whole bunch of stuff. It went to housing, flipping housing. He from the Midwest. No, he from Connecticut, and just like growing up there, like, and living here in Houston, and just like a lot of different things, like all that. So then a few minutes later, I see who I now know is his wife. I see her just sitting there by herself, and him and the other woman, they kind of doing their own thing. So then I was just like, hey, coming to see how you doing over here, and then just started talking to her. And so I was like, yeah, your husband was telling me, and like me and her, we ended up connecting on some maternal stuff and just like pregnancy history, like we just really started talking and really started vibing. And she shared like their love story, how they came about, and just like where she was before she met him. Like, yeah, yo, when I talk to people, people talk to me. Like, it'd be so funny because I'll be out and about, and my friends can attest to this. I'll be out and about, and I'll just spark up a slight conversation, just kind of like, just, and people will just dump. I'll be like, okay, yeah, we here now. I know your whole family history type, but I welcome the conversation, and we had the conversation. So yeah, so me and her chopping it up, chopping it up, chopping it up. Excuse me. So I say all of that to say, one of the comments specifically, the man was like, "Yeah, I'm real big on respecting my wife and my marriage, so." Very soon after meeting a woman, I will definitely be like, yeah, my wife and I. And I was just like, you a real one. Now let's get to the humdinger. Because, yeah, I think that there's nothing wrong with her being the final decision maker or the final say so, and if they have more kids. Meet me in the comments if you two agree that there's nothing wrong with him saying that and him being on board, whether we want more or we want to stop. Like, meet me in the comments your thoughts about that clip and meet me in the comments about boundaries and how men kind of put that boundary up or don't put it up when they are talking to women, and just like different situations that you may have experienced, may have seen, may have felt, may have thought, may have considered, whatever. So a lot of the men in the comments about his wife having say so felt a way like he is not he's less of a man, or he's simping, or if she don't gotta work, if she don't gotta do this, then it doesn't matter. If you've been if you've been listening to my podcast, then you already know I probably went off the deep end, and I in those comments reading and just kind of like ill. Because you cannot sit up here and tell a woman that just because you are the provider, she needs to crank out X amount of babies. There is a disconnect for a lot of men when it comes to childbirth. I don't understand why it's such a disconnect. But I've seen it too. I've seen men be disconnected the entire pregnancy, and then once the baby's here, the light bulb goes off. Wait, what? Why we wait? What? I'm confused. Two, I believe with my heart of hearts, if men had to experience childbirth, the population on this planet, it would be small. Birth control and all of the ways in which you could have it, pill, shot, hooks, insert IUD. I promise there would probably be a very least invasive and probably high fat, like it wouldn't be as fatal, because there are women who get so many different symptoms and consequences, not to say consequences, but effects of having all these different contraceptions or contraceptives. I think I said it wrong. Oops. Men have a procedure that is very minimally invasive when they don't want to have kids anymore. But if a woman doesn't want to have kids anymore, now are our bodies more, everything is internal, that's number one. Are they that much different? Could there possibly be a minimally invasive way to do it? I'm pretty sure, but men don't be thinking about that. So I definitely believe if men had to carry the offspring, there would probably be a low population, and it would probably not be, healthcare would also be free. Like, yeah, no, we live in a, yeah, we, okay. There are also just a lot of men who are just very disconnected to the people that they co-create with, and just like how hard that is. So for you to sit up here and tell her, or sit up here and tell him that he is simp, or he not leading his household and he should be able to make the, and because he provides and like, you sound real stupid, and you sound selfish, and you sound very inconsiderate. And I hope a woman has not made a baby with you. I hope. But whatever. So looking in the comments and just seeing the back and forth and the back and forth and the back and forth, specifically around providing and kids, and who gets to pick the number and how many, it made me start thinking, social media, where there was a level of innocence when it in its first inception, where it is now, terrible. I think so much of it is intentionally designed to create further divides. And I'm going to speak specifically to my Black community. There have been ways, and there have been laws, and there have been practices to keep the Black family unit broken. And I think social media and the fact that everybody has a podcast, and I hate to say that on my podcast because it sounds very undermining, but a lot of people do have podcasts, and what they contribute on it, to it, for it, doesn't always push the narrative of community. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So I've noticed my algorithm too. My algorithm is giving me a whole bunch of people talking about how dating sucks, and how single women, when they get approached, and how they be so pissed off when certain men say whatever. Like, this one girl, she was making content, and she was like, I'm about sick of dudes asking me, or what you doing, which is very valid. Like, don't ask me what I'm doing. But anyway, but more specifically, like, oh, they'll ask like, you hungry? And they'll be like, what's up? How you doing? Oh, I'm hungry. They're like, dang, that's crazy. And then it's like, oh, I just finished, I just got dressed or something, or I just got out the shower, and they'd be like, dang, without me? And so one of the comments like, why y'all being so serious? It's just a joke. And so I actually commented back like, imagine if every time someone showed interest in you, and there was a statement about you in a intimate moment, they was like, dang, without me. Like, that'll get dead real fast. Now, you could easily clap back and be like, well, why did you tell them you was getting out the shower? Sometimes it don't even be a shower where they be like, without me. And it's like, what? What are we talking about? Like, it's not even about, it's not funny. It's not funny. Most of the time it's beyond inappropriate. And it's tired. Like, all y'all gonna keep saying without me? Make yourself a part if you really want to be a part of something. 1 + 1 make 2, duh. So yeah, I definitely feel like social media is it's encouraging singlehood. It's encouraging a constant contrast or bumping heads of men and women. And I hate it. I hate it because it's all at the demise of the human race, and it's so sad. It's so sad. It's so sad. And I really wish that my Black women and men could find common ground. It's like some situations that will be very specific to men or women, or someone hasn't truly experienced for themselves, they'll just eat it up because of somebody else's story. Like, bro, you can't eat up everybody else's story as if it's your own and then have such a strong opinion about it and then want to generalize that for the masses. Dudes be upset that women be wanting a level of, how you say, providing, if you would. I don't even know if that's the word I would say, but I mean, some women do be just out here to get a free meal or to be getting flown out and just all that and all that. But dude, that ain't even your tax bracket to be doing that. So why you super pressed and thinking that that's all women when the women that are probably in your frequency, they what? What? Like, sometimes dudes be really on their high horse about talking bad about women, about experience that they never had. Like, you never had that. So that man spent the $200 dinner and now he's expecting sex afterwards. Why? But okay. That was another part I said I wanted to talk about. Understanding why you're going into a date, a courtship potentially. You looking for it to be transactional, reciprocal, or unconditional. It's a fourth one. I can't remember what it was. But there are typically 4 types of relationships: transactional, reciprocal, unconditional, and maybe transferable. I think. I don't know. But a lot of relationships live in the transactional state, and that's not always it, because sometimes there's a monetary transaction, sometimes there's a more emotional transaction, and if this then this, or I say this or do this so you can say this or do this. What? No, that's because now you're putting a value when some things just have different values. Like, it's invaluable to me, the ability to just like have fun and enjoy somebody. Like Friday, oh my gosh, y'all, Friday. This past Friday, I hung out with my friends, and it was the second time I had hung out with them. The first time was Cinco de Mayo since the last almost year of my life for the most part. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I love y'all. I love this. This is so much fun. And I was just like, I love my friends. They don't know what they gave to me, and I hope that I gave them something for them as well. But just like in that moment, in that time frame, like a great time was had, and I was so grateful for them. So like, am I thinking like, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do that? No, because we all move in a way, in a space that's like we just give and we pour into. Somebody pouring into you will forever be invaluable. You can't monetize being poured into. You can't really quantify it either. Like, a good pour is a good pour. and how you need it and when it show up, it's just what it is. And for my women, I think I hate that I'm finna say this like this, and it is. I think a lot of us don't really always know what we want, and I can own that for myself. I will be presented in a dating situation, and I'll be like, I'll know like beforehand, like this, and then I'll get some of those things. I'll be like, but, and so I'll be like, do you really know what you want? And I don't know that everybody does the self work and really like truly taps into what they're looking for. Because the last time I said the last time I described what I wanted, I got a lot of one part without the other parts. So I'm just like, I'm redefining and kind of, I learn more of what I don't want. No, I learn more of what I want based off of receiving what I don't want. And so now it's just kind of like manifesting and just truly leaning into what I want versus focusing on what I don't want, because you bring about what you think about. So if I always keep thinking about what I don't want, then I'm always keep getting what I don't want. But if I think about what I do want, come on, no. Come on. So yeah, social media definitely is not helping. And then once that algorithm notice what you watching, oh God. And then there's the whole mental piece. Like I think about just how much of my attention gets grabbed when I'm on social media. I had such a good time on Friday. I went to work, got something to eat, came home, fell asleep, and was knocked for about 4-5 hours. Body just needed to really relax, relate, release. Woke up and was on social media for hours. Hours. It was so disgusting. I was like, we're not doing social media. So when I woke up, I was like, all right, I went back to sleep eventually. And when I woke up, I was like, no social media. There are also very much times where I'll be like, we're not getting on anything before 12 p.m. or 11 a.m. Or we're going to make sure we schedule all of our content and then we're going to be done with it for X amount of hours or days or whatever. Because when I personally can see the effects of social media on myself. And I don't know that a lot of people notice that for themselves. I really wish they would, because it would really help big companies. They would do a better job and a better service to us. Everything that they doing is more for their bottom line. I would love it if for one day everybody got off social media. Like nobody logged in. Nobody logged in. Remember those few times when Twitter went down? Twitter was in a tizzy. People who loved Twitter, they didn't know what to do with themselves when Twitter went down. As a person who trying to get back into Twitter, it's really hard for me. Twitter never gave me what it gives to a lot of people. And I'd be like, dang, I don't know if I wasn't following the right people or the right people wasn't retweeting the right things. I don't know. But I never truly got my footing with Twitter. But when Twitter went down, they was distraught. They came back to Instagram so upset. I remember when Instagram went down, people was like, oh my God, my Instagram. I'm like, what of it? Like, if it's one thing we know gonna happen, that it's gonna come back, because all of them ads that we supposed to be seeing didn't get seen, didn't make no money, didn't get no clicks, didn't get none of that. So yeah, they gonna get it back right. That's what you can guarantee. Social media is, and people be like, it's free. It don't cost me nothing. Your attention and your mental health, that's a cost. That is a cost. The app is free, but once you own that app, what's up? So I be disgusted when I find myself sitting on Instagram for like 3-4 hours, which is why my podcast is on TikTok, but you won't catch me scrolling TikTok. I just can't do it. Instagram is enough for me already. Can't do it. But I say all of this to say this is a rather short episode, which is not a problem. That's cool. One, to my married couples, how do you all define respect in your relationships? Ooh, yeah, that's a good question. To my married couples, how do you all define respect in your marriage? And to all of us who use social media, when you all see the different relationship posts, vids, comments, all that stuff, do you think it's further creating individualism at the expense of community, which I think it is, because I just had another thought about something that I wanted to say. The more we become more individualized, the less community we have and the easier we are to manipulate. And I think about that, something as simple as back in our 20s, when we was getting ready to go out, yeah, we finna meet up at one house. We finna pregame and or get ready, and then we gonna all ride together. and then we're gonna have a good time, and then we're gonna all leave together, and then we're gonna disperse. We might spend the night together, and then we all leave the next morning after we have our recap. Ooh, ain't nothing like a good morning after recap. Yes, indeed, I love a good morning recap. Anyway, now we all get ready separately. We all pull up separately. And sometimes we leave at different times. We don't always all leave together. And I'll be like, dang. I know why we do it, because one, we all got our own places and spaces, and we all be feeling the night differently. So I low-key get it at this big age, but a part of me be like, that community, that camaraderie, like, bring it back. And so individualism it's good, but it's also, I think extreme individualism is going to be the downfall of the human race. And because there's not a whole lot of other species that don't move in groups. I think it's only crocs that's kind of like solo dolo. I think it's either crocs or alligators. Can't remember which one. And it's another one that they kind of be loners. But for the most part, they be in packs, herds, schools. So just like why we as humans why we need to just be solo dolo? No, we need to be together. We need to stick together. There's power in numbers. So yeah. Meet me in the comments with the things that I just said. I kind of forgot them and don't want to say them again and potentially wrong. As always, wishing you love, light, laughter. Until next time.